Hey there, everybody. It's Katherine, and I am stopping in to share a new set I picked up from Diamond Press. They had a pretty big sale a couple of weeks ago, and I got this coffee and tea set that included a couple of embossing folders. There are this large stamp set, and then all these dies. I'm just going to place the dies on top of them so you can see it. They're dies for most of the images. There are only a couple that it didn't include, and a die for one of the tags and the spoon. But everything else had some dies, and then there's also some word dies, tea and friendship, and then there's this beautiful border die, and so pretty. And so I'm going to make a bunch of cards with this, and I hope that you'll stay tuned. So I'm going to begin by stamping my images onto a piece of patterned paper. I wanted to make a floral teapot basically and a set of china. And so I decided to stamp that onto some patterned paper. I'm also going to do it on this green paper as well. So you could, if you didn't want to color the image, this is a quick and easy way to create a cute image without having to do the extra work. You just die cut it, and there you've got a really cute little image to work with. I'm going to emboss use one of the folders, the coffee folders, and I've got this pink patterned paper that has a really subtle detail, a little bit of white blended in with it, and I'm going to use that on a slimline card base. This slimline card base comes from a kit I also got from Diamond Press. I think that's still available in their store. I think it's called Hello. And I haven't begun working with it yet, but I wanted to use the card base in this video. So that's where that card base came from. Really nice quality. I'll link below so you can check it out if you like to make slimlines. And so now I'm going to glue down this patterned paper on the end of this card, and I'm gonna just trim that off so it matches. And the width that I cut for the folder was 1 3/4. It was almost the entire width of it. You probably could go a tiny bit wider if you wanted, but I ended up doing it at 1 3/4. Now I have die cut the teapot and the sweet little cups, and I'm going to add these to the bottom half of my card. I think they turned out really cute. And I'm popping them up with some foam, and then I'm going to come back and add the word friendship on top of that. So I'm just moving that around, making sure I've got it where I want it to be. I've cut the friendship already. I cut it from green that coordinates a little bit with the green in the teapots. So I'm going to add that with my fine tip glue, and of course I drop it, but thankfully there's still a little bit of glue on there. So I'm just going to add my word on there, friendship, and I love the font on this. It's so pretty. And then I want to add some hearts. There was the heart included in this stamp set. I'm going to trim down my adhesive and add that. I stamped that in a pink color that works with the patterned paper and as well. So I've got those two on there, and then I decide I want to add a little bit more. I should have done this before I added it to the card. I'm going to use some scissors and punch a little hole. It takes me a while to get it in there. I have a little X-Acto tool somewhere, but of course I couldn't find it. If you follow me, you know I can't find things a lot of the time. I am not the super organized crafter that some people are. But anyway, so I'm going to pull this white satin ribbon through and tie a bow on that, because I felt it was a little heavy on that side. I wanted to lighten it up a little bit, add a little more interest. So that's why I came back and added that ribbon, and I think it gave it a nice balanced look in the end. Now I'm going to stamp the teacup with black Gina K amalgam ink. This is Obsidian that I use all the time. I'm going to stamp several of these because I want to come back and add another color in there. They have where you can stamp a second time You can bring the image in there, and they've got one with polka dots and one with stripes. I've got an assortment of Hero Arts ink pads that were lying around on my table. So I pulled them out, a couple of ombre ones, and then I'm going to pull out some ink cubes as well that I have to finish those off. And you can see it's got those beautiful little stripes. And these Hero Arts come from a previous card kit, the My Monthly Hero. I love that they include the little ink, I call them little ink spots, but these little ink cubes in there. And I love that they include that kind of stuff in kits. And I'm going to finish these up. Got my last little polka dot one in this beautiful pink. And I'm going to stamp that a second time to get a nice image. Okay, I have trimmed down another piece of pattern paper that came from the same pad. This paper pad comes from Recollections. I'm pretty sure it's not available in the stores anymore. It's probably on clearance, but if I find it, I'll link to it. But I'm just using a basic paper pad here. It has a little bit of pattern. And then I'm stamping You and Me and a cup of tea on the bottom. And I'm getting that last little image finished up. And then I want to add my teacups. There is a stamp included in this set that I'm going to use later that has 3 teacups kind of stacked together like this. But I wanted to do it with the patterns so I could have different colors as well. So that's why I'm just using this. It's kind of the same idea. And you'll see later there's that cute little stamp. These are a little bit bigger. So I'm kind of doing the same sort of thing here. I'm going to add foam adhesive. I pop those up. I'm adding this to a piece of white cardstock that is trimmed a little bit larger. The yellow paper is 4 inches by 5.25, and then I've added that onto a blue card base. I've got some twine that I've had a long time. I'm pretty sure this is from Lawn Fawn. I don't know what color it is, but it's really thick. So I'm going to add this to my card and tie that off. I love their twine, and I have quite a bit of it over the years that I enjoy using. So I'm going to tie a bow here, and then that will be the decoration on that side for this card. Let me trim this down, and then I will add just a little bit more. I've got some sequins, you can see, some pretty flower sequins that I had in my craft stash, and I'm going to add 3 different colors. I'm going to add the green, that kind of beautiful, darker kind of pink color, and then the blue. And I'll come in and finish that off. So that's it on that one. And now I have also stamped some of these macarons. I don't really know if it's macaron or macaroon. I've always said macaroon, but then I've heard it's macaron. So let me know in the comments if you know the correct pronunciation of these delicious little cookies. Those are some of my favorite. I get them at Costco when we're able to go to Costco, and they are delicious. Okay, so back to topic. I am pulling out my Wink of Stella markers to color these beautiful cookies, and they have that fantastic shimmer. If you have any of them, it's hard to see on camera, but when they dry, they have a beautiful shimmer to them, and I like to pull them out occasionally to use. You'll see my orange one has got a little bit of an issue. I'm not real sure what happened to it, but I'm trying to contain it. It has a little bit of a leak, or I pushed too much, I'm not sure, to come out, but I'm trying to make that work. So I really want an orange one as well. And honestly, the orange ones and the green ones are my favorites. If you've ever had them in store before, Costco has the most delicious flavors of them. Anyway, so I've got the orange, I've got that one finished, and then I'm going to come back and make one more green one. And then you can see I also stamped that coffee cup, and I will color it. I'm going to go with a kind of a non-traditional color. I'm going to make it pink. And that's just because it's a little bit more fun, and it works with my color theme. So I'm going to finish that up. And then you'll see later, I show it off screen, or it's off screen, I should say. I come back and color a little bit of gray on the top, silver, I guess it is, with that Wink of Stella. And so I'm going to run all of these through my machine and die cut the last of my little macaron cookies. And then I will go to layering all of these onto the card. And I'm using my Diamond Press Marquee machine here, which makes quick work of these die cut images. I highly recommend that machine. I enjoy it. It's my favorite tabletop machine for sure. Okay, now I've got a cute scalloped circle die that is from Diamond Press as well. It is in one of their hidden messages auto ship sets. I don't remember which one, but it was an auto ship, and I thought that would be a pretty size to use. I'm going to keep the center white as well. I'm not going to do a contrast because I want to add my coffee cup and my sweet treats on top. So I'm just kind of laying out where I'm going to put my cookies, and then I'm going to trim down with my little trimmer that I'm enjoying these days some of this pink cardstock, and that will be what I'm going to layer all of this onto. Cutting this to 5 1/4 by 4, and then I'll layer on. I'm going to stamp Hello Friend at the top and the bottom. And I'm just placing that scallop to make sure I've got enough room. And then I'm going to add this to my stamping positioner, and I will come back with my Gina K ink and stamp that. I'm wiping that off because I had a different color of the Gina K and I wasn't sure. I thought I might do a different color, but then I decided to just stay with black. So I'm coming back for a second stamp, and it looks really, really good. So I'm going to pull that off, clean my stamps. I'm trying to do that more often. I'm bad about not cleaning my stamps and then using them again, and it's a totally different color, or it messes up the image because it's not clean. So I'm trying to do a better job of cleaning after I use it. Okay, I use my fine tip glue here to get the scallop circle down, and then I'm going to just add that circle right back in there. Looks great. I like the brightness of it for sure. Going to take some foam dimensionals and add my coffee cup and my little treats. I'm going to do 3. I'll just hold on to that extra green one and use it on another project. So cute. And then I'm going to finish off popping up that last orange one. Okay. And now I can assemble the card. I'm going to put it onto a piece of green cardstock, light green, that works with that one macaron. And then I was going to put it on orange, but this orange is just too much. Pink and orange was always a big controversy in the 80s when I grew up. I remember pink and orange just not going together. But one of my favorite shirts that I had was pink stripes. It was orange and pink stripes, and I loved that shirt. Oh my goodness, I could not get enough of it. But I guess pink and orange are not supposed to go together, but I disagree. Now I'm going to come in here. I wanted to add something to that center. I was looking for a little heart, and I stumbled upon these cute little sprinkles from Martha Stewart that I got at Michael's many, many years ago. This is a little bit of a detail work. These sprinkles are very small. They're really meant for shaker cards and really small application like that. But I'm going to take a chance and take the time and add these 3 little hearts with a touch of glue and my little pin from my glue bottle and get those positioned. And I love the way that it looks. It turned out okay. So that was to finish off that sweet little Hello Friend card. All right, moving on. Okay, so I'm bringing in a larger card base on this one. I'm using that adorable teacup, coffee cup embossing folder, and I'm going to go with some browns on this one. I've got a couple of pieces. These are all cut 1 3/4 wide through my machine to get them embossed. And then I've got that center piece, which is called Fine Linen. This cardstock is from Paper Tray Ink. And then I'm going to mount it all onto a larger piece of that fine linen, which is that lighter color in the middle. But I definitely wanted to have just more of a kind of coffee look to it, more of what you'd say would be a traditional kind of coffee card. Because I really wanted to use these embossing folders, the embossing folder again. There's also a heart one. I did not use it in this video, but it's very cute, same size. And I'm just taking a second to glue these down, hoping that they're somewhat straight. I probably should have used a straight edge, but I know my rectangle is square, and I know for sure that the embossing folder is straight. So I feel pretty good about my odds of getting it somewhat straight. I'm going to glue this onto a larger card base. This is 6x6. This card base is from Crafter's Companion. I have several of their card kits, and they send all different size card bases in their kits. So I found one that was 6x6 that I wanted to use just shopping my stash. I've stamped Coffee and Friends Make the Perfect Blend, and I used some Gina K ink again, but I used the brown. She has a brown version of the amalgam, and I used that to stamp that sentiment. I'm coming back with some gingham ribbon that I had in my stash of two colors that I thought worked well with this color scheme that I'm kind of going with. I'm going to trim down a couple of pieces of the ribbon of the lighter and the darker, and then I'm going to tie that on there just for a little bit of a different ribbon kind of look. I thought that was kind of fun. So I'm going to tie that off, and then I'm going to trim my edges off, coming back and straightening up that one that right there. And there we go. So that's kind of fun. And then I will take some foam adhesive and add that to the back of the sentiment strip that I created. And that will be it on this card. I kept it pretty simple because I wanted the coffee cups, the tea. In this case, they're coffee cups. They could be teacups, but I wanted them to be the star of that card. Okay, moving on. I'm cutting this. I had these rectangles. These are from Avery L that I've had for a very long time. They probably don't make them anymore, I bet. They're double stitched, so you get a stitch on the inside and a stitch on the outside of that. But I've cut the smaller one, and then I decided I wanted to work with this spoon. And obviously you can see I did not film the whole thing, so I saved you the time of having to watch me go around and stamp randomly. But that's what I did. I've just been stamping around to create this background. And then I'm going to stamp that 3 cups that I mentioned earlier. I'm going to use a Memento ink on this because that is an alcohol-friendly ink. And I wanted to try and do make it look more like the no-line coloring. So, and I just felt like doing blue on this card for some reason. And off camera, I have colored with my Spectrum Noir Tri-Blends, and it looks kind of cool. So I'm going to cut that out using my machine and the dies, and then I will add that onto this card. I decided to keep the spoons black and white and not color them. I just wanted to have the teacups in blue. And I had used a bunch of other colors in this video, obviously, but then I just wanted to keep it very, very specific with those teacups. And there we go. So I'm going to also cut a rectangle out of a light blue cardstock. That is from, I picked up this set from Diamond Press's sale that had a bunch of different shapes in it. And I also stamped Friend in black ink. I did go with black ink to keep with my colors. And then I am going to run this through my machine. I love that the Friend die is a stamp and then you can die cut around it. I think that's fun because you can make a lot of different colors, and it's just something different than just a traditional die cut. It's just kind of fun to me. I've got some card stock that I've already prepared. I cut a larger rectangle from the stitched that will coordinate with the smaller one with the spoons. And I'm going to add that on there. They should be straight since it was a die, which is always exciting. and then I will add this to a darker blue that kind of works with the colors of the cups. Before I add it to the rectangle, I am going to sponge around a little bit on the edge with my, I'm actually going to use a brush on this one. You can use a sponge or a brush. I just had a brush handy. And then I'm going to come around and ink those edges. That paper is really light. I love it, but it's really, really light, so it can get lost on all that white in the background. So I wanted to make it stand out just a little bit more. Okay, the last step will be to add some foam to my teacups and to my word friend, and that will wrap this card up. I love how it turned out. It's kind of graphic, and having those black and white, just kind of fun. I just felt like using the blue on this card. So I'm going to glue this. I popped that up, but I'm just going to glue that directly onto the card. And then I will add the word friend. So cute. And you could stamp the inside with some of the sentiments from the set to tie it all together. I'm going to trim down these dimensionals just a little bit smaller. I think I'm out of the small, tiny ones. So I'm just making do by trimming them down into half pieces. And there we go. I'm going to lower that just a little bit so I don't block all of my spoons to keep that interest. And that is all I'm going to do on this one. Oh, nope, I changed my mind. I found these in my craft stash, this little bottle of sequins that I've had for years, and I found this sweet little heart in the same color tones, and so now it's finished. All right, so let's recap. I think that's everything. Yes. Okay, so I created 5 cards with this set. Please leave me a comment. Let me know if you have a favorite. And I hope you enjoyed watching. I hope you will subscribe. I loved this set, and I plan to make several more cards with it. It's always just a matter of time, but I appreciate you watching, and I hope that you have a great day. Be sure to like and share too. If you have a friend who likes to make things or who likes the Diamond Press brand, be sure to let them know. Have a great day.